Good morning, everybody. How are we doing today? So I got back recently from Honduras, as Phil just said, and it was a really wonderful time. I got to spend Christmas and New Year's there. You see up here on the, what is that, your right, your left, we got our pickup truck full of all kinds of goodies that Anthem helped pay for. We got a whole bunch of food. We made 20 baskets of food. And then in the middle, we've got Marisol there with her sister. They're all making tamales because that's the Honduran tradition. Marisol is my fiance. And then there on the right is the little bridge that we crossed to get into Marisol's sister's place. So I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I went over there, because last time I was there, I was only really with my grandma's ministry, and I didn't get out much, didn't get to go explore. So this is where we ended up on Christmas Eve. In Honduras, they celebrate Christmas on the 24th. So we went up through the mountains and tried to get up to where we were going to go serve this food to these people. We got a whole bunch of toys for the kids too. And we were stopped by this big pit of mud. That's a very steep hill. It's about a 3-hour drive going through these mountain roads. The whole way is just muddy, ruts like 1.5 feet deep, and it was just the craziest road that I have ever seen. Keep going. And so here we are at Marisol's sister's house. We're loading up all the food, getting the baskets ready to go, and keep going through them. And it was just really amazing to me to see how, I showed up there. I had no idea who I was going to be helping out. I just knew there was this community up where Marisol's mom lives, and there are about 18 families or so. So we went up there, and they just said, hey, let's go and do something good for them for Christmas. So we put this little project together, and everyone just pitched in. It was really cool to see God bringing everyone together and just making it happen. So by the time that we were heading out, we had all 20 of these baskets loaded up into the car. We had, I think it was something like 13 people packed into that truck by the time we got there. Because 2 people, or like 4 people, who were going between a 4-wheeler and a motorcycle, and neither of those could make it. You see, there's tons of us packed in there. And this road was just a really crazy thing to me, because these people are living so far up in the mountains. They don't have electricity. They don't have cell service. They live off of what they can produce from their own land, and they're completely dependent on the weather for coming and going. Here's a coffee plantation, and they're planted on the side of the mountain. A lot of the time it's very, very muddy, and these people go out there and they harvest these coffee beans. That's coffee still on the plant. And these people go and they harvest this coffee, and they get about $4 or $5 per gallon of coffee that they harvest. And that's how they make their living. And so it just kind of blew me away, like, wow, how do people live like this? Because I'm over here in one of the wealthiest places on earth, and these people are living in these little shacks they put together, and they've all got dirt floors. They use the water that comes from the mountain out of the springs. And it's really incredible to see the joy that these people have too, where they just have nothing, and their faith really blew me away, because they just love God and they depend on God so much to where when they're sick, they can't necessarily go to a doctor, so all they do is pray. And they get everyone around, and I've never quite seen people pray like I've seen these people pray. So here I am handing one of the baskets to a family here. That's their house. And there was one kid in particular that really kind of left a mark on me while we were going through handing out all this food. And this little kid, we were in his house. Everyone was very hospitable. Whenever we go into someone's house, they would always make us coffee. It was the best coffee I've ever had. And this little kid, he's sitting there on the floor, and he's playing with this toy car that I gave him. And we were about to go and get the pigs that we had purchased. I'll tell you more about that next week. But this kid and I, we were just pushing this car back and forth. And as soon as I left to go and get the pigs, he just started bawling his eyes out. And it just left a big mark on me, like, wow, these kids, they're growing up in this environment where they don't know the wealth that all of us know. They don't know life outside of living in the jungle with a dirt floor and just going around playing and helping out mom and dad. And so when he started to cry, it just kind of tore my heart. Like, oh man, these kids need some love. They need some attention. They need someone to play with them. And just seeing the impact of one little toy car that costs, $1 or $2, it's amazing the impact that had for him. So there's our truck. You can keep going. That was after we got to Marisol's mom. That's Marisol's mom right there. And she lives up in the mountains there. And we got to make this wonderful soup out of all the stuff we collected from her yard. And they just have these little fires going with a sheet of steel on top, and that's how they cook everything. And there's Marisol with her, what would that be, her cousin, who's mentally handicapped. He's also living up there, right next to her mom. And seeing just how much need there is in this community, I think, is what I learned more than anything else. Just that there's people who have so much life, so much passion, so much joy, and I just wanted to go and help them in any way that I could. So this is just our little project that we did. And there's everyone who came to get some food baskets. They all walked down on these dirt roads to come and get the food. And the kids were just going crazy, playing around with the balls. The girls went wild over the Barbies. And that's Marisol's grandfather, who I believe is 92, somewhere around there. And we took him back with us to go take him to his wife, because he was really upset that he was separated from his wife. Yeah, they were very, very happy, very grateful for all the blessings that Anthem was able to send over there through me. And just the joy of the Lord was there. It was so clear to me. Even just a little thing like taking some food to them, giving their kids some toys, and sharing the joy of the Lord, sharing his blessings. It was a real treat for me. I'd say possibly more than for them. And I think my biggest takeaway is there's more work to be done. And like I said at the beginning, I didn't really know what I was getting into. I've never been here before. I didn't know any of these people. I just heard from Marisol's family, hey, there's this community up here. They need help. Let's try and help them. And so we put together a plan and made it happen. So my challenge to you guys doesn't have to be Honduras, doesn't have to be outside of the country or outside of the city, but there are people in your circles of influence, or friends of friends. There's people around you who are in need, who need help. And if we can extend our arm and just say, hey, I'm here. I don't know what you need. I don't know what your situation is, but I'm here to help. I'm here to do what I can, because that's what God tells us to do. Go out and help people and share the gospel with them. So that's my challenge to you, is even if you don't know like what you're getting yourself into, take a step of faith. Go out on that muddy mountain road where you're not sure if you're going to make it or not, because God will take you all the way there.